So, here we start lecture number 33 on finite volume, and now in this particular lecture we will start with a discretization for the unsteady term. So far what we have completed the diffusion term, and then we have looked at convection diffusion system. While doing the convection diffusion system, we have discussed higher order scheme and their approaches, how one can formulate those higher order scheme, and then the implementation point of view along with boundary conditions. Now, in today's lecture we will discuss the unsteady discretization. So, that will actually make the platform ready for the fluid flow problem. So, in the unsteady discretizations, what you do, you essentially your governing equations that you have, which is for any scalar variable, which you can say rest of the terms written in one operator. This is how the unsteady equation would look like. Your convection flux, diffusion flux, source term, everything is included in this operator. Now, this is the transient term that we need to look at it, or other way one can think that how to discretize this transient term along with the complete set of system. When you say unsteady discretization, it includes discretization both in time and space. So, what we have been doing so far, we are only doing the special discretization so far, where we talk about order of accuracy, that means second order, third order or first order of accuracy. So, that is primarily the spatial discretization. We have not yet discussed anything on time or temporal discretization. So, now in today's lecture we will have a look, and then we will go on detailed discussion on the temporal discretization along with the spatial discretization. So, how would you start with this particular system? So, let us see first in a picture how the, so this is the time coordinate. Essentially one can think about this is a time coordinate, picture of a time coordinate where you see transient and spatial operator, transient and spatial operator. So, these pictures actually give you the complete idea about the whole system. So, this is an unstructured grid element, and as per our notation, this element which we are interested in, and our complete equation is like this, where this guy includes convection flux, diffusion flux, source term. So, everything that includes. So, everything other terms apart from this transient term now has been taken within this operator L phi. Now, when you look at this particular indexing system, the concerned cell is surrounded by these neighboring cells, and when it is surrounded by the neighboring cell, now this is where at a particular time level t or transient level t, and then when you go to the next time level, here you come at the time level t plus delta t, and if you go one level down or previous time step, this is t minus delta t. So, you can think about this is how your time coordinate will actually move with your solution, previous time step, present time step, future time step, and this is the transient operator that will work from this time step to this time step, and it will see how the solution actually varies with time, and then from here this will move to the futuristic time scale. Now, if we consider this particular element in the time coordinate, let us say at time level t, and see it, I mean expand that system, then this is what it looks like. So, here your C, and then you have surrounding all the elements like F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, and these are the phases F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, and source term, source or sink term, and then the transient term. So, across the phases you will have convection and diffusion fluxes, which may come in, some phases it may come in, some phases it may go out. Now, if you do the, I mean just over this element C, if you integrate with time, then this operator del t rho phi dV plus Vc L phi dV 0. Now, the spatial discretization about this, it will get you the del t rho c phi c into Vc plus L phi c at time level t 0. Now, Vc is the volume of C, and all the operator, spatial operator, which is expressed at time instance t. Okay. So, that is where the operator lies. Now, this one can be written algebraically like L phi c t equals to AC phi c t plus summation over F n b c A f phi f t minus B c. Now, if t tends to infinity, one can actually retrieve back the steady state discretized equation. Now, this is also true when steady state is reached through the time marching, that will provide you phi c at t plus delta t is phi c at t. So, that will also tell you that the steady state of the solution is achieved. Now, for the discretization of the transient term, the traditional practice is that we discretize this unsteady term using some sort of an finite difference kind of approximation. So, where essentially one has to use typical Taylor series expansion and then try to form the discretized system. So, using the Taylor series expression, you can express your time derivative. So, that is the whole idea. Now, in this way, if we integrate this term, del phi by del t is integrated over temporal element and transform into the, so we want to integrate the term del t by del phi over time and then convert them to a phase fluxes as a similar fashion what we have done for the convection scheme, then it will look similar, except this is done in a transient coordinate system. Now, when you look at a structured system, let us say I will look at a structured system like in time coordinate, and how things will move. Things will move like this. This is t, then this should be t plus delta t, this is t minus delta t, this is t minus 2 delta t. So, this gap is known as delta t, and this is how you can actually, this is again in the structured kind of grid system. One can think the time coordinate to be a similar to your spatial coordinate. So, it is in the uniform time system. So, basically the time stepping or time step is uniform, which is delta t. So, now one can write for different transient applications. Let us say if we write forward Euler scheme. So, what we do, the typical transient term, let us say any value t, some function which is, or phi also one can write for the scalar phi, phi at t plus delta t equals to phi t plus del phi by del t into delta t plus del 2 phi by del t 2 into delta t square by 2 factorial and so on. So, now the first derivative of that del phi by del t, if I have to find out, so that will become phi t plus delta t minus phi t divided by delta t, and order of accuracy also. So, now this one also get you first order accurate, but temporal accuracy. So, the temporal accuracy is also first order. Now, we can use this one for our system, and then we can get the discretized equation. Now, the discretized equation for the element C, that will look like. So, if we see this, so this is the schematic of explicit Euler, and what is happening from this to this, it moves, and discretized equation one can write like rho c phi c t plus delta t minus rho c phi c t divided by delta t multiplied with V c plus L phi c t equals to 0. That is the discretized equation. Now, which indicates that this quantity rho c phi c at t plus delta t does not require solving a system of equations. Rather, one can directly find out this quantity at t plus delta t, because everything else, if you look at it, they are represented at. So, one can just expand little bit and write this is t plus delta t equals to delta t into L phi c t plus rho c phi c t V c. So, everything else in this particular expression is known except the quantity which one tries to find out at that t plus delta t level. So, it can be evaluated explicitly using the previous time step value. So, this is known as explicit transient scheme, which means I can find out the variable explicitly using the information from my previous time step level. So, this is exactly what is shown here. All these right hand side variables are known from my physical previous time iteration. So, using that information or known values, one can find out the information, and that is done explicitly. So, one has to, one does not need to solve any linear system. So, this has some great advantages, like computationally it is very cheap. That means it will be highly efficient. You can solve this floating point calculation very quickly, and you do not need to keep anything in the memory. So, but few of the codes which prefer to use it, because it will have severe restriction from the stability point of view. Now, once we substitute these things in the discretized algebraic equation, so the discretized equation will be obtained like AC t plus delta t, phi c t plus delta t, AC t, phi c t, BC minus AC, phi c t plus summation of NBC AF phi f t. So, that is the discretized system that you can get, and where your AC t plus delta t is nothing but rho c t plus delta t B c by delta t, and AC t is rho c t B c delta t. So, the coefficients AC t plus delta t and AC t, this comes from the transient formulation and at the different level of these things. Now, what one can do is that finding the phi c from here using this equation at next time level, one can find out these things very easily. And this equation, if you use, you find out the phi c term explicitly, which will retain the complete term, and one can find out, like let us say phi c, which will find out B c minus A c phi c t plus summation of f n n b c A f phi f t minus A c t phi c t by t plus delta t A c t plus delta t. So, this is how you can find out explicitly this expression. This is an explicit. Now, one can look at the stability of this particular system. So, the stability condition for this forward Euler is kind of controlled by the number which is known as Courant Friedrich and Lewis. So, this is in short, which is common known as CFL criteria. When someone uses explicit scheme, the time step is somehow controlled by this CFL criteria, and which will provide some sort of an restriction on your delta t using your depending on your grid resolution and the flow condition. So, in reality the CFL condition can be interpreted simply as one of the basic rules that should be satisfied by these coefficients, namely by the opposite sign rule, and extended to include the transient coefficients. So, let us say just for a phi a, which is considered as a special neighbor of phi c, and similarly the other elements, then one can see that phi, the coefficient like a c plus a c, this should be less than 0. So, this is at one is the current time step, another is the previous time step. So, one can use that way. So, that is what one can find out this criteria, and we will see in details what it could be. So, now you can actually represent these things in a expanding the term. So, term, if you want to expand that, essentially you have to find out the term, you consider a stencil like one dimensional stencil where you have these cells and they are, this is C, this would be E, this is EE, W, WW, uniform tensile. So, this is delta XC and this would be delta YC, and the surface, this is a distance which is delta XW and this is delta XE. So, this is a standard notation that we have been using so far in this system. So, now we have to evaluate these coefficients at different time instance, which include t, t plus delta t, the coefficients of AC, that we have to find out. And how do I find out? So, you have to use this using the, like AC is sort of m dot E, which is rho c u c delta y c, that is the conditions. Now, one can use, this was the, since it is a forward Euler, this could be t minus delta t. So, essentially one can use the time of t, t minus delta t, t minus 2 delta t, like that. So, the in the previous to previous time instances. So, that is how one can use, and the this one would be current time step. So, which includes this one previous time step and the uniformity between that, like a spatial coordinate system, since it is a uniform. So, here also it is a uniform temporal discretization based on delta t. So, that is how one can find out this whole business. Now, AC, which is at current time level, one can, so the previous times level, if you want to find out this whole system, you need to find out from the previous time step, that is the condition. And now this you find out the AC at the current time step, which is the mass flow rate from my previous time step, and then this should be like that. Similarly, out AC at previous time step, which is minus rho c previous time step Vc by delta t. So, that would be minus rho c t minus delta t delta x c delta y c divided by delta t. So, that is how you get at current time step, which is represented by t, and the previous time step t minus delta t. So, now how you find out that this is current time step using the mass flow rate from the previous time step, and this is at the previous time step. Now, the CFL criteria says that it says AC at the current time step plus AC at previous time step, they must be less than 0, which means if I put this in back here, which means rho c u c, which is t minus delta t delta y c plus or rather minus rho c t minus delta t delta x c delta y c divided by delta t less than equals to 0. So, delta y c that goes out, rho c goes out. So, delta t becomes essentially less than equals to delta x c by u c t minus delta t. That is what it becomes. So, what it provides that condition for the time step. So, one can immediately see the explicit scheme has some restriction on. So, when you have a convection dominated flow, the CFL criteria for convection is magnitude of Vc from previous time step into delta t by delta x c. So, that has dependency on the flow field, dependency on the grid resolution. So, these are all what one has to use. So, now and for stability this has to be less than 1, and from there you can find out, because you know the velocity condition, you know the delta c x c from your grid, then you can always find out the delta t. Now, one can that is the case when we do not consider these things. Now, what happens to the transient diffusion case? Now, that is the case where we have a convection case. Now, we look at transient diffusion problem. So, transient diffusion problem, for these purposes again you consider that one dimensional tensile. So, C E W, this is small e small w delta x c, and if the cell height is there, that would delta y c. So, it is a uniform, again it is a uniform stencil. So, once you consider that uniform tensile, now the discretized equation for the transient diffusion term is going to be AC, and these are the coefficients in there. So, the AC at present time level is given by gamma E delta YC by delta XC plus gamma W delta YC by. Similarly, at the previous time level, this is minus rho C T minus delta C B C by delta T, which is minus rho C T minus delta T del X C del Y C divided by del T. So, the CFL criteria says AC at T plus AC at T minus delta T, they less than 0, which will get you gamma E delta YC by del XC plus gamma W del YC by del XW minus rho C T minus delta T del XC del YC by del T less than 0. So, which will give you an criteria where delta T is less than rho C T minus delta C XC gamma E by del XC plus gamma W by del XW. So, in case you have, as we assume, the uniform grid, and let us say gamma E is same, which is gamma, then this delta T becomes rho C delta XC square divided by 2 gamma C. So, that is the restriction you get transient diffusion problem. So, the CFL criteria for diffusion problem is gamma C delta C by rho C delta XC square, and it has to be less than half for stability. So, you see individually when you look at the convection problem and the diffusion problem, the stability limits are different, and when we combine them, so the complete unsteady convection diffusion system, so that is the one which you would like to take up next. So, transient convection diffusion problem. So, now how one can go about it? Let us consider this stencil, which is in essentially unstructured grid. So, when we are in the unstructured grid, then we have a cell connected with neighboring elements which are faces like this, and they are connecting with the. Now, here this is a transient convection diffusion problem or case, where your coefficients are the from the matrix, these are minus rho C B C by delta T. AC at current instance is F N B over C gamma F E F by D C F plus m dot F 0. Now, once we substitute this for the stability criteria, which is essentially the criteria of AC t plus AC t minus delta t less than 0, we get summation over f n b c gamma f E f by d c f plus m dot f 0 minus rho c t minus delta t b c by delta t less than 0. So, which leads to the following condition that delta t must be rho c t minus delta t v c divided by summation f n b c gamma f E f d c f plus m dot f 0. So, that is the criteria one can get for both convection diffusion system. Now, this equation the general requirement for the stability of explicit scheme. Now, the condition obtained earlier for pure convection or diffusion is in one dimensional system, and those could be the special case of this multidimensional problem. Now, again for the case of one dimensional diffusion with uniform grid, from here let us say from here one can derive those one dimensional case with uniform grid of delta x, density is constant rho, uniform diffusion coefficients gamma, then one reduces this criteria for diffusion case, unsteady diffusion case, that delta t less than equals to rho c, which is t minus delta t, this delta x delta y c divided by summation of f n b c, which is now one can write this is gamma f, which will be now E f by d c f plus m dot f 0. Now, this guy is 0, this guy is essentially lead to delta y c by delta x c, and gamma f is gamma e by gamma w. Now, so if the flow moves from left to right, this delta t criteria becomes del x c by u c, that is for convection. So, one case you can find out pure diffusion, other case you can find out pure convection. So, the stability constant, which is quite stringent and very restrictive, as it forces the use of extremely small cell size and the grid size in the explicit transient formulation. So, when we look at the implicit transient formulation in the later half of the lecture, we can see that restrictions actually gets relaxed quite a bit. Now, in system with backward Euler. Backward Euler is sort of a implicit scheme. Now, again what we can write, our any variable t minus delta t is written as t minus del t plus del 2 phi by del T2 delta T square by factorial 2 and so on. So, we can find out the first derivative of this like phi t minus delta t divided by delta t, which is essentially del 2 phi by del T2 delta t by 2. Now, this one can replace in the discretized equations, and that it will be like at t minus rho c t minus delta t by delta t V c plus L phi c at t equals to 0. Now, once we invoke these algebraic relations of the spatial operator, and then complete algebraic transient equation would be this is AC and then AC at the present location, I mean present time step plus phi c. So, this one can define this dot which will represent the transient term at the current time legend. So, this is the current time level transient term. Since we are using same coefficients AC for the space and the time, we will just make it separate like that. So, in BC AF phi f BC t minus delta t phi c t minus delta t, where the coefficients for the transient term is rho c t BC divided by delta t and AC t minus delta t is minus rho c t minus delta t BC by del t term. So, that is how we can actually get, and you can use the field operator to get the new. Now, here the time level t and the time level t minus delta t are also of opposite sign, which guarantees that phi c is bounded by its spatial neighbors at the current time step t and c is temporal neighbors from the previous time step t minus delta t. So, this implies the scheme is stable independent of the time step used. So, this is what the advantage of backward Euler, it is independent of delta t, it is a stable scheme. So, that is the important message. Now, one can actually, I mean this is not an ideal scheme, as it is also low order and solution obtained with the schemes are of the lower order of accuracy, unless very small time step, that is like delta t is used. So, which is also a very restrictive condition, because then your calculation would be marching at a slower pace compared to if you adapt to a large time step for computational efficiency, result would be very erroneous. So, there could be one more scheme which can be discussed, which is called crank Crank-Nicolson scheme. So, the Crank-Nicolson scheme. Crank-Nicolson scheme, what it uses the information of t plus delta t, uses the information of t minus delta t, and also at the level of t. So, it uses all this information. Now, using Taylor series expansion, one can write del phi by del t is phi t plus delta t minus phi t minus delta t divided by 2 delta t. This would be second order accurates. Now, since the order of accuracy, and now if it substitute in the say, equation, this will give you rho b c t plus delta t minus rho c v c t minus delta t divided by 2 delta t b c plus L phi c equals to 0. Then once we invoke the special operator, so we can write that complete system like AC phi c BC minus AC t phi c t minus delta t plus f AF t phi f t minus delta t AC t minus 2 delta t phi c t minus 2 delta t. So, it uses the information at the current time level, previous time level, and one level earlier, where AC this is rho c by 2 delta t, AC t minus 2 delta t is rho c t minus 2 delta t b divided by 2 delta t. So, this scheme what it uses that at the t plus rho phi at t plus delta t, which can be performed using the old values. However, the old values are read from the 2 levels before this one, and accordingly it will modify the system. Now, one more thing which is required, that analysis of the stability of this particular scheme, Crank-Nicolson scheme. So, this can be performed after slightly modifying the equation. In that case, what modification is done is that we say phi at t minus delta t is approximated as phi t plus phi t minus 2 delta t divided by 2. Then the complete algebraic equation, this one brings down to AC phi c 0.5 ACT phi ct plus summation of f NBC AF phi f all at the tth level equals to BCT minus 0.5, where we write AC t plus 2 AC t minus 2 delta t phi c t minus 2 delta t plus NBC AF t phi f t minus 2 delta t. So, that is how you can get, and the which becomes AC t plus 2 AC T minus 2 delta T less than equals to 0. Again, if you go back to one dimensional system, then this equation provides you the criteria that delta T less than equals to 2 rho C T minus 2 delta T V C by m dot E T minus delta T, which is 2 rho C T minus delta T del x c del y c divided by rho C T minus delta T u c T minus delta C delta y c, which is nothing but 2 delta x c by magnitude of T minus delta T. So, which has been assumed that the advection term is discretized using the Apunt scheme. Now, using the CFL number for the convection defined by this expression, the criteria for the convection would be less than 2. So, larger the CFL limitation is very much helpful in the computing point of view, but the improved accuracy is just more important as it allows for accurate solution, which can be achieved without the need to resort to very small time step. So, especially that the second order derivative is now estimated from the error. So, now we can see the accuracy issues now. Now, implementation, if you look at these details, so the implementation details, because end of the day one has to think about from the programming point of view. Now, what happens at the forward Euler, where you get your rho C phi C at t minus rho C phi C t minus delta t by delta t V C equals to minus L phi C t. Now, backward Euler, you get rho C phi C t plus delta t minus rho C phi C t divided by delta t V C minus L phi C at t. Now, if you add these two, forward plus backward Euler, what it does, it actually add this term, and now if you add this term, which will get you rho C phi C t plus delta t, this guy gets cancelled, minus rho C phi C t minus delta t by 2 delta t into V C plus L phi C t equals to 0, which is essentially Crank-Nicolson scheme. So, this points to a simple implementation of the Crank-Nicolson scheme within a implicit scheme framework. It is a two-step procedure. So, in the first step, one can do the backward Euler formulation. So, to use implicitly find the value. So, this, and the second step, the value at time step t plus delta t can be found. So, at the first step, it is the backward Euler which will get you to find rho phi t from rho C phi C T plus delta T by Vc L phi c T equals to T minus delta T. Now, the second step, find the value at T plus delta T, like rho c phi c T plus delta T minus rho c phi c T divided by del T Vc minus L phi c T, which will get you that rho c phi c T minus rho c phi c T minus delta T by delta T Vc. So, that is rho c phi c T plus delta T equals to 2 rho c phi c T minus rho c phi c T minus delta T. So, in this calculation, one thing which is assumed as that delta T is divided into 2 equal steps, which is delta T local is delta T by 2. Now, one can note here is that the Crank-Nicholson scheme is second order accurate scheme. So, it is an also still it is an explicit scheme, also it is an explicit scheme which has some stability criteria or condition based on CFL like expression. So, this also has the limit of the choosing delta T, like the backward Euler or forward Euler, they are very much restrictive using our CFL criteria. Similarly, Crank-Nicholson also has certain restriction using CFL like criteria. But one thing which one can note here, since you achieve this calculation in 2 equal steps, so which is essentially provides slightly better stable system compared to backward Euler or forward Euler. So, this is a, and top of that it is a second order accurate scheme. So, one can note here that the Crank-Nicholson is a better option compared to forward or backward Euler, and it provides higher order accuracy even in the temporal discretization and also stable. And we will look at other scheme in the next lecture. Thank you.